It is an extraordinary story, ripe for the telling. A glamorous Hollywood leading lady is at the summit of the film industry, yet treated as a sexual trophy and repeatedly undervalued intellectually. But her scientific know-how leads to a breakthrough in military technology and opens up the way for contemporary communications methods, such as Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. The remarkable life of the Austrian-born Hedy Lamarr, considered the most beautiful woman in the world by her Hollywood peers in the 1940s and 50s, is now the subject of a documentary, co-produced by the actress Susan Sarandon, which receives its British premiere in London on Wednesday as part of the Jewish Film Festival. Bombshell. The Hedy Lamarr story follows the career of the young Hedwig Kiesler from her childhood in pre-war Vienna, on to her escape, disguised as a maid, from a rich first husband. Using news footage and interviews with Lamarr's children from her 6 marriages, the first-time director Alexandra Dean traces Lamarr's journey to London and later to Los Angeles, where she becomes a star after appearing with Charles Boyer in the film Algiers. But at the center of the new documentary is her little-known life as a successful inventor. Hedy Lamarr's Delilah in the Cecil B. DeMille's 1949 biblical blockbuster. Photograph all-star. The film tells Lamarr's story largely through previously unheard tapes of an interview she gave to Forbes magazine in 1990, 10 years before her death in Florida. By then a recluse, she explains her interest in technology to the journalist. "Inventions are easy for me to do," Lamarr says. "I suppose I just came from a different planet." Lamarr is best remembered for her sultry role as the duplicitous Delilah in Cecil B. DeMille's 1949 biblical blockbuster, in which she appeared opposite Victor Mature as Samson. But her acting started on stage in Austria, after she had attended a renowned Berlin acting school headed by the director Max Reinhardt. The daughter of a Viennese bank director with a love of technology, Lamarr grew up in an artistic Jewish quarter of the city. By the age of 19 she had won a film role that brought her lifelong notoriety, appearing nude in an unprecedented simulated sex scene in the 1933 Czech film Ecstasy, a performance denounced by the Pope. Until now, Lamarr's part in the development of what she called frequency hopping, a way to avoid the German jamming of radio signals, has remained an obscure bit of Hollywood trivia. However, as the Los Angeles film industry is shaken by accusations of inbuilt sexism in the wake of revelations about producer Harvey Weinstein's sexual abuses, Sarandon and the German film actress Diane Kruger, a fan of Lamarr who appears in the documentary, believe her hidden scientific talent will finally be recognized. Dean told Vanity Fair this year that Lamarr opens the tapes by saying, "I wanted to sell my story, because it's so unbelievable. It was the opposite of what people think." Lamarr also complains about Hollywood's obsession with appearances, which she found dull. "The brains of people are more interesting than the looks, I think." Nevertheless, her roles repeatedly showcased her beauty and offered limited scope for acting. George Sanders, one of her co-stars, once said that Lamarr was so beautiful that everybody would stop talking when she came into a room. Her interest in radio communications seems to have been rekindled by the introduction in America of remote control systems for playing music, and by her concern about the German jamming techniques that prevented the use of radio-controlled torpedoes. She worked on her invention of an early form of spread-spectrum telecommunications, in which a signal is transmitted on a much broader bandwidth than the original, together with her Hollywood neighbor, the avant-garde composer George Antheil, through the summer of 1940. Susan Sarandon co-produced the documentary, Bombshell. The Hedy Lamarr story. Photograph. Noam Gallagher images. Their joint design employed a mechanism rather like the rolls used inside a pianola, or self-playing piano, to synchronize changes between 88 frequencies, the standard number of piano keys. The duo submitted a patent to the National Inventors Council on the 10th of June 1941, and it was granted a year later. While the idea was not entirely new, with German engineers winning patents for related work in 1939 and 1940, the United States Navy classified the patent as top secret. It took time, however, for the military to recognize how useful Lamarr and Antheil's bulky invention might become. After the war, in 1957, engineers at Sylvania Electronic Systems Division adopted it, and the Navy began to use it to help transmit the underwater positions of enemy submarines revealed by sonar. In 1998, more than 50 years after their invention, the pair were honored with an Electronic Frontier Foundation award. The actress, who once commented that her face was her misfortune and a mask I cannot remove, may now gain some posthumous recognition as an inventor, but her most lasting legacy is still likely to be the striking features of Disney's Snow White, a cartoon character modeled on Lamarr. Lamarr's life. Born Hedwig Eva Maria Kiesler, in Vienna, Austria, on the 9th of November 1913. Family married 6 times including to Friedrich Mandel, an arms dealer, but fled her loveless marriage to be a Hollywood actress. Film career big break was a lead role in Gustav Machedy's Ecstasy, where she became the probably first Hollywood star to simulate a female orgasm on screen. The film sparked outrage and was attacked by Pope Pius XI. After leaving her husband she changed her name to Hedy Lamarr, and starred in the Hollywood film, Algiers. Other films included Boomtown, My Favorite Spy and Samson and Delilah, the highest-grossing film of 1949. Algiers 1938 was her first American film. Inventions in 1942 Lamarr and her business partner, composer George Antheil, awarded a patent for a secret communication system for radio-guided torpedoes. Later, it became a constituent of GPS, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. She also developed Boolean cubes to transform water into a Coke, and a skin tightening technique based on the principles of the accordion.